now simplify. Root 3 plus 1 to the power 5 minus root 3 minus 1 to the power 5. So, the value of n is 5. So, n is equal to 5. Now, we have two expansions here, one for root 3 plus 1 and one more for root 3 minus 1. So, let us expand this separately first. So, we have root 3 plus 1 to the power 5 is equal to, I will write the coefficients first, 5c0, 5c1, 5c2, 5c3, 5c4 and 5c5. Now, let us write the x terms. So, root 3 to the power 5, root 3 to the power 4, root 3 to the power 3, root 3 to the power 2, root 3 to the power 1 and root 3 to the power 0. Next, let us write the a terms. So, this is 1 to the power 0, that is 1. I write 1 anywhere, raise it to any power, I will get 1 itself. So, I am not going to write that. Now, let us expand the second term, that is root 3 minus 1 to the power 5. So, this will be 5c0, write the coefficients, 5c2, 5c3, 5c4 and 5c5. Okay. Now, let us write the x terms also remain same, root 3 to the power 3, root 3 to the power 2, root 3 to the power 1 and root 3 to the power 0. Now, let us write the a terms. Remember to take this a along with the sign. So, we have minus 1. So, minus 1 raised to the power 0 will give us 1 itself. So, I am not going to write that. Minus 1 raised to the power 1. This is the odd power. So, the minus term will remain. So, we can write here plus into minus is minus. What happens here? This is minus 1 raised to the power 2. Minus 1 raised to the power 2 is plus 1. So, I am not going to write. Okay, the sign remains as it is. What happens to the next term here? Minus 1 raised to the power 3, odd power. So, minus term will remain. So, minus into plus is minus. What happens here? Minus 1 raised to the power 4, even power. So, it remains as it is. Here minus 1 raised to the power 5. So, this will be minus. Now, we are asked to subtract these two equations. See, this one minus this. So, let us subtract. Okay. So, left hand side, I will write this side first. We get root 3 plus 1 to the power 5 minus root 3 minus 1 to the power 5. Okay. So, now I am going to subtract this term from this term. Okay. So, this minus this will give us 0. So, this 2 will cancel out. What happens here? This minus of minus. So, this becomes plus, correct. So, this will be 2 times 5c1 root 3 to the power 4. Okay. What happens to this term? This minus this. So, cancels out. What happens here? Here you will get plus 2 times 5c3 root 3 square plus what happens to the next term? These two terms are same. When you subtract, they both cancel out. Okay, you will get 0. Here what do we get? We can add that and write 5c5 root 3 power 0 is 1. So, I am not writing it. Now, let us calculate the value. This is 2 into, I have written down what is 5c1. 5c1 is 5. So, 2 into 5 into, we have root 3 to the power 4. What do you mean by root 3 to the power 4? It means you are multiplying root 3 4 times. Okay. So, from this set, when you multiply this and this, you will get 3. When you multiply this, you will get 3. So, 3 into 3 will give us 9. Okay. Plus 2 into, we have 5c3 is equal to 10. So, 10 into root 3 square will be 3 plus 2 into 5c5 is 1. So, let us calculate this. 9 into 5, 45, 45 into 2 will give us 90, 90 plus 60 plus 2 will give us 152 as the answer. Next question, let us simplify root 2 plus 1 to the power 6 minus root 2 minus 1 to the power 6. So, first expansion is root 2 plus 1 to the power 6. So, this will be 6C0 plus 6C1. I am writing all the coefficients first. Okay. Now, let us write the x terms. This will be root 2 to the power 6, root 2 to the power 5, root 2 to the power 4, root 2 to the power 3, root 2 to the power 2, root 2 to the power 1 and root 2 to the power 0. Next term will be 1 to the power 0, 1 to the power 1, 1 to the power 2, everywhere you will get 1. So, let us see the next expansion. We have root 2 minus 1 to the power 6. Now, what happens? You must have already observed when there is a minus sign, the signs will alternate, correct? You will get alternate signs. So, first term will be 6C0 root 2 to the power 6 into minus 1 to the power 0, that is equal to 1. Here we have 6C1, this will be root 2 to the power 5 minus 1 to the power 1. So, minus 1 will remain, minus 1 into plus 1 will give us, minus into plus will give us minus. Next term we have 6C2 root 2 to the power 4. So, this is minus 1 to the power 2, it will become positive. Here we have 6C3 root 2 to the power 3 minus 1 to the power 3. So, minus into plus, minus sign will remain. Here we get 6C4 root 2 to the power 2 minus 1 to the power 4, that will be plus 1. Next term here we have 6C5 root 2 to the power 1 minus 1 to the power 5. So, minus term will remain. Okay. And the last term here 6C6 root 2 to the power 0 minus 1 to the power 6, it is an even power, so positive. Okay. So, now we are asked to subtract these two expansions. So, let us subtract this. So, left hand side we get root 2 plus 1 to the power 6 minus root 2 minus 1 to the power 6. So, here we get 6C0, these two terms are same, when you subtract these two will cancel out. So, you will get 0 here. Here when you subtract you will get 6C1 root 2 to the power 5 minus of minus, which becomes plus. So, you will get 2 times 6C1 root 2 to the power 5. Next term will cancel. Next term you will get plus 6C3 root 2 to the power 3. Next term will cancel. Here you will get plus 2 times 6C5 root 2 to the power 1 and the last term will cancel out. Okay. So, let us calculate this. This is 2 into 6C1 is 6, root 2 to the power 5. What is root 2 to the power 5? You are multiplying a root 2 5 times. Okay. So, from the first pair you will get 2, from the second pair you will get 2 and the last root 2 will remain. So, 2 into 2 is 4, so 4 root 2 plus 6C3 is 20. This will be multiplying root 2 3 times. So, you will get, sorry, I have forgotten to write 2 here, this is 2 times, correct. You are now adding, you will get 2 times 6C3 root 2 to the power 3. So, here you have 2 into 20 into, this will be 2 root 2 plus 2 times we have 6C5, 6C5 is 6, here root 2 will remain. So, let us calculate this. Our answer will be 2 into 6 is 12, 12 into 4 48, 48 root 2 plus 80 root 2 plus 12 root 2 will give us 140 root 2 as the answer. Let us now try to write the general term from the binomial expansion. Okay. So, we have the first term nc0 x to the power n a to the power 0. Second term we have nc1 x to the power n minus 1 a to the power 1, and I have written down till the fourth term. Now, if I have to write the general term, let us make some comparisons here. Okay. So, we have the first term, this is T1, term number 1. So, T1, okay, but here we have our value is 0, a to the power 0. Okay. So, what is happening? This is 1, this is 0, this is 0. So, what happens for T2? Similarly, see this is 2, but this is 2 minus 1, this is correct 1. Here T3, see if you see this value here is 1 less than this value. So, if I take this value as R, so if I write this as NCR, and observe this term is same here, here and here. So, we will get x to the power, if you can observe, see 2, 2 and 2, 1, 1 and 1. Here this will be n minus 0 and 0. Okay. So, what is happening? This will be n minus r a to the power r. Okay. So, this will be, now what will be the term number? What will be the term number? Just check here, this number is 1 more than this number. This number is 1 more than this number. So, whatever number you take here should be 1 more than this number. So, it has to be r plus 1. So, Tr plus 1 is equal to Ncr x to the power n minus r a to the power r. This is the general term in the expansion of any binomial raised to the positive power. Let us now try to find the fifth term in the expansion of 4x by 5 minus 5 by 2x to the power 8. Now, let us make a note of the values of n, x, a and r. Okay. N is equal to 8, x value is 4x by 5, a value, take it along with the sign, minus 5 by 2x. Okay. Now, what is r? We are asked to find the fifth term, T5. This is our question. Okay. Now, how can you write T5 in general form? This has to be 4 plus 1, then only you will get 5. So, in the place of r, if you compare these two, r will be equal to 4. So, from here you can write r is equal to 4. Now, let us find the fifth term. So, this will be T4 plus 1 is equal to NCR. So, 8C4 x to the power. So, it is 4x by 5 to the power 8 minus 4, that will be equal to 4, and into minus 5 by 2x to the power r. What is r here? R is 4. So, now let us calculate the value. Okay. 8C4 will give us 70. What happens here? We have 4 to the power 4, 4 to the power 4 into x to the power 4 divided by 5 to the power 4 into, now what happens here? Minus raised to the even power, so it becomes plus. So, we have 5 to the power 4 divided by 2 to the power 4 into x to the power 4. So, let us cancel out the terms. So, this gets cancelled, this term gets cancelled. Now, when you calculate, we have 4 to the power 4, 256. Here we have 2 to the power 4, which is 16. So, when we calculate, our answer will be 1120. Next question. Let us find the 11th term in the expansion of x plus 1 by root x to the power 14. Let us make a note of the n value is 14, x is x here, a is 1 by root 14 here. Now, we have to find the, 1 by root x here. Now, we have to find the 11th term. So, that is T11, T11. T11 can be written because we want it in this form, r plus 1. So, we can write it as T10 plus 1. So, now compare this and this, we get r is equal to, this will imply r is equal to 10. Now let us substitute this in the general form. We have T 10 plus 1 is equal to NCR. So N is 14, R is 10, NCR, x to the power N minus R. So 14 minus 10, that will be equal to 4, A to the power R. So we have 1 by root x to the power 10. Okay. So this will be equal to 14 C 10 x to the power 4. Now what happens here? We have this will be equal to 1 by root x to the power 10 will be equal to 1 to the power 10 divided by root x to the power 10. Okay. Now we know that root x can be written as x to the power 1 by 2. Okay. So this will be equal to 1 divided by x to the power 10 by 2, that will be 10 by 2, that will be equal to 5. So 1 by x to the power 5. Okay. So we can calculate, this will cancel out. This is of the form a to the power m divided by a power n. You can calculate, this is a to the power m minus n. You can use this and you will see that x to the power 1 will remain, that I can write in the denominator. X to the power minus 1 will remain, this we can write it as 1 by x. So our answer will be 14 C10 divided by x, and you can calculate 14 C10, that will be equal to 1001 divided by x. This is our required answer. Next, let us find the middle term in the binomial expansions. Now, we know that when n, the index n is even, the number of terms is odd. So, number of terms will be n plus 1, which will be odd. Now, if there are odd number of terms, let us take an example. If we take n as 4, let us take n is 4, n is even, correct? Now, we have to find the middle term. There will be n plus 1 number of terms, so 5 terms. So, we have 5 terms, let us say first term, second term, third, fourth and fifth term. Now, when you look at the terms like this, you know which should be the middle term. Obviously, this will be the middle term, correct? So, this is our first term, second term, this will be the third term, fourth term and this will be the fifth term. Now, how do you obtain the third term as the middle term? Now, this is a small number, so you can write like this and tell this is the third, middle term is the third term. But if the n values are large, then you will find it very difficult to find out. Okay? So, let us try to get a general form, how to find this middle term. Okay? So, there will be only one middle term, first observation, only one middle term. Okay? Now, how do you obtain this middle term? This is the third term, you need 3 as the answer. If you see 5 plus 1 divided by 2 will give us 6 by 2, that is equal to 3. But what was 5 here? 5 is 4 plus 1. Why am I writing it as 4 plus 1? Because our n value is 4. So, we have n plus 1, 4 plus 1 plus 1 divided by 2. So, you can write this as 4 plus 1 divided by 2. Okay? This will be equal to 3. So, if I have to write the general form, 4 was n, okay, n value was 4 plus 1 divided by 2. So, this will be equal to n plus 2 divided by 2. This term n plus 2 divided by 2th term will be the middle term in the expansion, okay, if n value is even. Let us check what happens when n is odd. So, when n is odd, let us take an example, let us take n is equal to 3. Okay. So, what happens? Number of terms will be 4. So, number of terms is equal to n plus 1, that is equal to 4. So, if there are 4 terms, now which one is the middle term? You have 4 terms. So, if you see these 2 terms will be the middle terms, that is, this was the first term, second term, third term and this is the fourth term. So, second term and the third term are the middle terms. So, first observation, we have two middle terms. So, if n is odd, then we have two middle terms. Okay? So, two middle terms. Now, which are these middle terms? If you observe, we have the second term and the third term. So, let's try to get the general form for this. Okay? So, we need the second term as the answer. So, if you see 4 by 2 will give us 2. Okay? We will get the second term. So, what can we do is 4 is n plus 1. Okay? So, 4 is n plus 1. You can write this as 3 plus 1 divided by 2. So, if I have to write it in general, then n plus 1 divided by 2 will become one of the middle terms. So, this is one of the middle term. Okay. Now, which is the next middle term? The very next term, very successive term, correct? So, that will be n plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1th term. Okay. So, observe here, when n is odd, number of terms is even. So, you will have two middle terms, and which are the two middle terms? One is n plus 1 divided by 2th term, and the very next term you will get by adding 1. Let us solve a few problems to understand this concept in a much better way. Let us find the middle term in the expansion of x minus 1 by 2y to the power 10. So, n here is 10, which is even. So, when n is even, we know the number of terms is odd, therefore, there will be one middle term, and the middle term is n plus 2 divided by 2th term, or you can also write this as, see, this will be n by 2 plus 2 by 2, that will give us n by 2 plus 1th term. Okay? So, let us make a note of this. N is 10, which is even. Okay? Therefore, there is one middle term. And which is this middle term? We have n by 2 plus 1th term. So, that is n by 2 plus 1th term. Okay. So, what is n by 2 plus 1th term? 10 by 2 plus 1th term. So, this will be the 6th term. So, you are going to find the 6th term. Alright. So, how to find the 6th term? We want what is T6. T6 can be written as T5 plus 1. We know the general form. How do we give the general form? General form is given by TR plus 1 is equal to NCR x to the power n minus r a to the power r. Okay. So, let us write this in the general form. So, NCR, so this will be 10C5 x to the power n minus r. In the place of x, we have x itself. So, x to the power 10 minus 5 is 5, then a to the power r. So, we have a to the power, so minus 1 by 2y to the power, what is r here? R is 5. So, now let us simplify this. What do we get? This will be 10C5. Now, x to the power 5, okay. So, we have minus raised to the odd power, so that minus sign will remain, divided by, this will be 2 to the power 5, y to the power 5. So, if you calculate, 10C5 will be equal to 1008, 2 to the power 5 is 32, this will be into x to the power 5 divided by y to the power 5. So, we can cancel out these terms, we get minus 63 divided by 2 when you simplify, x to the power 5 divided by y to the power 5. This is the required answer. Next question, let us find the middle term in the expansion of a by 3 plus b by 3 to the power 8. Now, if you see n value is 8, n is even, okay. So, n is even, and what happens when n is even? The number of terms is odd, therefore, there will be one middle term, therefore, one middle term. Now, which will be this middle term? The middle term will be n by 2 plus 1th term. So 8 by 2 plus 1th term. So what is 8 by 2 plus 1? This is 4 plus 1, that is 5th term. So 5th term. 5th term is the required term, that is the middle term in this expansion. So we need to find what is T5. So how do we find T5? We can write T5 as T4 plus 1, correct? So our value will be equal to 4. So let's substitute this in the general form. NCR, n is 8, so 8C4, x to the power n minus r. In the place of x we have a by 3, n minus r, so 8 minus 4 is 4. What happens to the next term? b by 3 to the power 4 r. Okay. So let us calculate this. We will get 8C4. This is a to the power 4, b to the power 4. We can write a by ab to the power 4. Now what will happen here? 3. So the denominator we have 3 to the power 4 into 3 to the power 4. So a to the power m into a to the power n. What happens? The powers get added up. So you can write a to the power m plus n. Is that right? So you can write this as 8C4 ab to the power 4. This one will be 3 to the power 4 plus 4 is 8, and this will be our required answer. Now let us see what happens when n value is odd. Okay. So I have taken 3x minus 2 by x square to the power 15. We are asked to find the middle term. Okay. So 15 is odd, and we know when n is odd, number of terms is even. We will have 2 middle terms, and which are those middle terms? These terms. Okay. So let us make a note of that. N is 15. So n is 15, which is odd. Okay. Therefore, they will have 2 middle terms. Now what are these middle terms? The first middle term will be which one? First middle term will be n plus 1 divided by 2th term. So 15 plus 1 divided by 2, 16 by 2, that is the 8th term. Okay. So the next term will be the very next term, that will be 9th term, but if you want, let us substitute and check. This will be 15 plus 1, that is 16 divided by 2, 8, 8 plus 1 is 9. So we have 9th term. Okay. So 8th and 9th terms are the middle terms. So now what do we have to find? We have to first find what is T8, then find what is T9. Okay. 8th and the 9th term. So T8 can be written as T7 plus 1. So using the general form NCR. What is NCR? 15C, R value is 7. X to the power n minus r. In the place of x we have 3x. 3x to the power 15 minus 7, that will be 8, into minus 2 by x square to the power 7. Okay. Now this is the odd power, so the minus sign will remain. So this will be minus 15C7. This is 3 to the power 8, x to the power 8. Here we have 2 to the power 7 divided by, this is of the form x square to the power 7. So a power m to the power n can be written as a to the power m into n, correct? So we can write this as x to the power 2 into 7, that is 14. Okay. So let us cancel out the terms. We have 15C7, 3 to the power 8, 2 to the power 7 into 2 to the power 7 into, we have, see here, x to the power 8, x to the power 14 in the denominator. So you can cancel out. This will be here, if I have to write this in the denominator, it will be x to the power 14 minus 8, that will be equal to 6. So we can write this as divided by x to the power 6, and this will be our required answer. Next let us find the T9th term. So T9 can be written as T8 plus 1. So R is 8. Let us Let's try to write this in the general form. 15C8 x to the power, in the place of x we have 3x, 3x to the power 15 minus 8, that will be 7 into minus 2 by x square to the power r is 8. Okay. So, this will be equal to 15C8 3 to the power 7 x to the power 7. Now, minus is raised to the even power, so it becomes positive, into 2 to the power 8 divided by x square to the power 8 is there. So, we can write it as x to the power 16. So, the answer will be 15C8 3 to the power 7 2 to the power 8 divided by, you can write this as x to the power 16 minus 7, that will be x to the power 9. This is our required answer. Next question, let us find the middle term in the expansion of 2x square plus 1 by root x to the power 11. Now note down, n is 11 which is odd. So, n equal to 11 which is odd. So, 11 is odd. So, how many middle terms will be there? There will be 2 middle terms. So, which are the middle terms? There will be 2 middle terms, and which are the middle terms? It is n plus 1 divided by 2th term and the next term. So, n plus 1 will give us 11 plus 1, that is 12. 12 divided by 2 is the 6th term, and which is the very next term? It is the 7th term. So, 6th term and the 7th term will be the middle terms in the expansion of this particular binomial raised to the power 11. So, let us find out, let us find out these 2 terms. We have T6. T6 can be written as T5 plus 1. In the general form, substitute this 11C5 x to the power. In the place of x we have 2x square. So, 2x square to the power 11 minus 5, which is equal to 6. There is a plus term. So, 1 by a root x to the power r. What is r? R is 5. So, this will be equal to 11C5 2 to the power 6 x to the power 2 into 6, that is 12. Here you get 1 by, what is this? We have root x. Root x can be written as x to the power 1 by 2. Okay. So, we have to the power 5. So, raise it to the power 5. So, you will get x to the power 5 by 2. So, x to the power 5 by 2 will be there in the denominator. So, let us simplify this. We have 11C5 2 to the power 6 x to the power 12 minus, okay, this is a power m divided by a power n, it will be a to the power m minus n. So, this will be 12 minus 5 by 2, that will be equal to, this will be, take LCM, LCM is 2, you have 12 minus 5 by 2. Okay, take LCM, this will be 24 minus 5, which will be equal to 19. So, 19 divided by 2. So, our final answer is 11C5 2 to the power 6 x to the power 19 divided by 2. Now, let us find the next term, which is that the 7th term. So, T7 can be written as T6 plus 1. So, our value is 6. Let us substitute 11C6 x to the power n minus r. In the place of x we have 2x square. So, 2x square to the power 11 minus 6 is 5 into 1 by root x to the power r. R is 6. So, let us simplify this. 11C6 2 to the power 5, this will be x to the power 10. Now, we have root x to the power 6. So, how can we write root x? This will be 1 by 2 to the power 6. So, 6 by 2, that is 3, correct. So, this will be divided by x to the power 3. So, this will be equal to 11C6 2 to the power 5. This will be x to the power 10 minus 3, that will be equal to 7. So, x to the power 7. This will be our required answer.